There was a pandemic that happened my senior year that flipped our lives upside down. It was called COVID. If you haven't heard of it, Google it. It was crazy. It was a wild era. We were all wearing masks. Every artist had a versus battle, and all of our social activities were on Zoom, which was kind of annoying because like you couldn't do that thing where when you want to get out of a social activity and you kind of say you have something to do, you didn't have anything to do because it's on Zoom. So it was hard to like make excuses to get out of that Zoom baby shower. It was a major pivot for the gang and I. Many of us were robbed of class trips, and most of you all either graduated from a TV screen or a drive-by service, which was the only year that the term drive-by was used in a positive setting. We were forced to pivot. And I believe we're a group that has become accustomed to pivoting from our expectations. But I want to suggest tonight that I think God has specifically purposed us to pivot. I say this because in my 22 years, I've learned that adulthood is defined by one thing: having to pivot because of unmet expectations. Look, I want to make this point because I've been an adult for a long time. And over the years, I've had to experience pivots, and I will experience more pivots. I want to make this point because we spend time at graduation talking about success and how we're going to win and how the best is yet to come, and that's great, but I can't just give a fake positive cotton candy Joel Osteen speech, because for a lot of us, we aren't that confident that the best is immediately about to come. I know you guys have internships and you guys have jobs. I want to talk to the people who aren't that confident right now. Because some of us didn't make it into our dream grad school, or didn't make it to the final round of interviews for that dream job we applied for. And even if you have a job, some of us are worried to death that we are about to venture off to a land where we are far from the community that we spent 4 years building. Things aren't looking how we're used to, and we're about to have to pivot. The type of pivot when your relatives ask, what's next after school? You kind of have to chop up some elusive word salad. Because family and friends, we love when you ask us what's going on after college, but to be honest, it causes like a slight panic attack for some of us. You know, just to be honest. Because if we're honest, none of us really know what's next. Graduates and adults. And other people. It seems scary. It's scary because sometimes, I know we've all like had that conversation with a first year Oakwood alumni, and you guys like, how's post-grad life? And they're like, you can see the fear in their eyes, and like, don't leave Oakwood, bro. Don't leave college, man. Oh, the bills, the bills. So some of you all are thinking, and it feels like this because God took us far enough to cross the Red Sea, but it feels like tomorrow when we pack up our West Oaks apartments, we're walking into the wilderness. So what do we do with that? Well, some of you are thinking, well, Pax has dug himself into one depressing hole. But I think God has spent a lot of time preparing us for the pivots. I mean, think of our underclassmen years. We saw an empty campus and took it as an opportunity to bond amongst ourselves. I mean, unmet expectations became our expectation. I remember I literally met Michael Henry because on Friday nights we didn't have AYM, and I was bored, and I left Holland and just started walking around. And Michael was bored, and he left Holland and started walking around. We met that night and started walking around together. And I think that's something that's gonna help us get through. Walking together.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right.
That's all. It's gonna take some spontaneous phone calls where you randomly call up your friend and go, hey, are you, okay, I'll wait. You're good. It's gonna take some spontaneous phone calls where you call up your friend and go, hey, are you scared? Are you worried? Post-grad depression? I'm worried too. I'm worried too. But hey, we're walking together because I don't know how many people are as willing to be transparent with me that and raise their hand and say, I'm kind of scared about the future. Anyone in this audience? Boom. Graduations make us talk about plans, but this next season is going to be about pivoting. I actually think the point we need to make is to think less about plans and more of patience. The industry in your major is going to change and AI is going to become whatever. The relationship you thought was your Oakwood love story might not pan out. But we'll pivot because we're used to it. That's why when Darius opens his medical practice, it will be because he learned how to pivot. When Joya is treating those with speech difficulties, it will be because she learned how to pivot. When Anthony is your local pastor and leading your local church, it will be because he learned how to pivot. When Drea is educating the next generation, it will be because she learned how to pivot. When Rayon is shaping the diet of our community, it will be because he learned how to pivot. When Malika becomes a U.S. Senator, it will be because she learned how to pivot. When Jamie is protecting vulnerable families and children as a social worker, it will be because she learned how to pivot. When Julian becomes that government consultant, it will be because he learned how to pivot.
All right.
And when Agnes's small, non-emergency transportation business becomes a multi-million corporation, it's gonna be because she learned how to pivot. There will be many pivots to come, but we're good. Just like Ross Geller carrying a couch up the stairs, we're going to pivot. That's a 90s reference. My mom loved it. Because we got God. And the thing about God is that he's actually really good at handling pivots.
Yeah.
He said that he can take all things and actually work it for our good. Even pivots. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what anyone says, we're the class of COVID, the class of the pivot, and we're gonna pivot. It's what we do. I love every single one of you. I'm gonna miss you like crazy. Thank you all.